Okay, and you can see my cool graphic t-shirt, which is like my thing. I love them so much. So today I'm going to talk a little bit about what does it mean to be a successful author. And part of this is coming from the fact that I don't feel like a very successful author today. Now, the word, or how do you know if someone's a successful author? What does it mean to be a successful author? Who is a successful author? The answer is, I don't know, you don't know, it all depends. And why is because the word successful or good or professional or any of those things are basically loaded words that we can't possibly know what other people mean by it. So if somebody says they're successful, they get to make the criteria for what that means to them. Okay, so I'm not saying that people are out there lying. I'm just saying when I hear successful, I'm going to make some assumptions based on the criteria that I've set up in my life for what successful means for me. And they have made it for them, and sometimes those don't line up. So to give you a idea of what, to give you an idea of where I'm at, for me, success means that I can support my family. And I'm not there yet, so let's just get that out of the way. I'm not at a place where I can pay all of my family's bills with my book money, minus my royalties coming in, minus my expenses going out. Now, I know that not everybody wants that, because let's say you are making $5,000 a year profit. Now, if you're trying to support your family on that, that can feel like failure. If you already have your family's expenses paid for in some other way, your spouse's, your full-time job, whatever, $5,000 extra is a huge amount of money, and a lot of people might feel that for them that's success. So, and there's of course so many factors. You don't know about other people's finances, and it's not really our business. But what I want to kind of say with this is that you get to define what success means for you, and nobody else does. So if your goal is only to write for the joy of writing, then that's success when you write. And I'll tell you that's still really hard, because writing is not, at least in my experience, is not a tap that you can turn on and be like, go forth and do this. You might have in your mind, you might have the book of your heart. You have one story to tell. And getting that one story published, it's your To Kill a Mockingbird. It is the one book that you have in you, and getting that one book out would be a success. Okay, that's totally fine. It might be, in my case, I want to do genre fiction and I want to entertain people, which means more than one book. I don't really have a book of my heart. I have aspects of stories that I'm drawn to. Fun adventures, the kind of people that you want to go and hang out with. I have a lot of tropes I like. I have, call it id list. Maybe there'll be a future video, although it's not really my concept to share. But if the book comes out, the lady who's writing it, maybe I'll share what my list would be, which are just things that bring me joy. I like reading. I love writing a book where there's a really great joke in it. And that brings me so much joy. But for me, I don't have one story. If you were to say, pitch me an idea, I could pitch you probably 10, 20 ideas that are kind of semi-formed, whether it's, you know, a jeweler who's a rock hound who solves mysteries out in the wild, or whether it's a water witch who is flirting with a policeman who's a were-dragon and solves murders. They all kind of solve murders, because that's kind of my thing. But my point is, I don't have a book of my heart. So for me, I want to write a lot of books. So writing a lot of books is success for me. For me, making profit is a success. I know people who aren't really worried about profit. They want to get their book into many people's hands as possible. There's people who want to write nonfiction. Okay, so you get my idea, which is you get to pick what it is that is success for you. And it can get a little bit, and this is where we get back to my Achilles heel, which is comparison. So I see other people and I think, I make a lot of assumptions about when they say things like, it was a great book launch. Well, what is a great book launch to me? And I start looking at numbers and all that. For them, it may be that they sold 50 copies, because for them that's success. And they are right. That is the most important thing you get out of this. Is not that I'm saying that success is only if you can support your family. That's what it is for me. That's my goal. And we could get into a whole therapist thing about why is that, and what does success mean to me, and why is money so important, and let's get back into your childhood, and let's talk about your parents, and all those kind of things. There is a whole loaded, I am probably wrong because I am such a mess, but the idea is that for a lot of people I know, they are very, very happy with their full-time jobs and they have no desire to be a full-time author. I can think of several right now who are super happy with their full-time jobs. Writing is an amazing hobby to them and a little bit of bonus money, but they have no intention or desire to quit their job. And of course, I think we all know people who want to quit their job so that they can write full-time. And this became a very loaded thing when you talk to people, if you're published and you just say, I just don't feel like I'm succeeding. And people can say, well, what is success to you? To me, it's making money because I want to support my family. I want to have a business. I want to prove, you know, you can just hear how I talk about it. You can go, oh man, there's some problems in there. But that is what it means for me. But this is, I guess my takeaway for you is to realize that what people talk about when they say things like, I had a good launch or I had a bad launch, or this ad worked for me or didn't work, or I'm a successful or I don't feel successful, are all really subjective terms and you can't possibly know what they mean. And to be clear, no one owes you that. I'm not saying that people should be honest and give you numbers and give you spreadsheets. I believe that money's a private thing, what you choose to share, that they could all be telling the truth as they see it. It's more of what I'm saying is you as the listener always need to be really careful that you don't carry in your assumption of what success is and apply it to when someone else is talking. So I guess this is one of those things where, for example, in my life, I want to be a professional author. I have been a long time, very serious archer, but I don't want to make a living at it because I know that for me, I would have to sacrifice a lot of things that I just don't want to sacrifice. So for me, if I went to an archery tournament and I shot scores that I shot in practice, I would be very happy, even if I wasn't the winner. Because for me, success means accomplishing what I know I'm capable of in that field. And in other areas, I do glass work. I make glass beads, I quilt, all those things. I don't care in the least bit how I do compared to anyone else because those are things I do just for me and it's not a competition. So you can have different areas of your life. Maybe you're a very serious hobbyist and that is okay and that is right, and you are not a worse writer and you're not a better writer and you are not, I am not saying there's this hierarchy. You do that, you can make that definition of success, and if you meet it, you win. And same thing if you are, you want to have a side hustle on it. You don't care, you just want to get your book into people's hands. Maybe you want to get, this is where we get into trad versus publishing. Maybe you don't care, you just want to say things like my agent or go to a bookstore. That is a whole nother discussion as to whether or not your expectations are meeting up with your plan. But I fully support you in what you define as success. And this is true whether you're an author, an artist, or whatever it is. So there you go. And that was one big, huge speech to encourage myself because I am not feeling successful today. But it's a reminder that I get to define success. And if I'm meeting my goals, then I've won. Thank you.